Hello, I'm the Resolute Cartographer, and this is the 188th video in my Fallout 76 Surveyal series, and here we are at the Black Mountain Ordnance Works. If we take a look at the map, we are here in the forest on the Ohio River, northeast of Point Pleasant. Alright, oop, sorry about that. So, this location has a few enemy types nearby. There's some Blood Eagles that hang out up there. There's some Molerats that generally attack you down here. I've also had patrols come by. Sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're not. But I didn't really include those in the enemies because they're random. Then along with that, you will find some Protectrons and an Eyebot floating around up there. In terms of collectible nodes, I found Bloodleaf, Brain Fungus, Glowing Fungus, Logs, Rhododendron, Soot Flowers, Snaptails, Starlight Creepers, and Wind Chimes. Wind Chimes, of course, not really a plant or anything, but you can harvest aluminum from them. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at this map that I drew up this place real quick. And those are the 8 TNT Domes. We have keys to 3 of them. The 4th one has been opened via the Invaders from Beyond event. Now that one's not typically available just on a regular daily basis, but I do have guides for the 3 that are openable, and I will show you those when we get to them. So why don't we go ahead and take a look around here. Now I'm going to include in this site, even though it's not really a part of the site, this little bit down here by the river, simply because it's got some nice plants by it, specifically those snaptails down there. Now you occasionally will find some enemies down here. This is my my own little camp here. This is not something that's typically found here. But if you look over here, you can see some rhododendron, some snap flowers, some bloodleaf, stuff like that. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. And there's some soot flowers, and there's a little camp down there. There are sometimes some enemies hanging out down here, occasionally some feral ghouls. Sometimes there's just some settlers, things like that. So coming back up here, we can head in through the front gate. This is, of course, based on a real-world location. This was the TNT area during the Second World War, and it has now become the McClintock Wildlife Management Area. So if we go ahead and head up this way, you can see here there's the sign here that this is closed by the Department of Defense, but we can head in here. Then again, there's the wind chimes. And if we go in here, we've got some junk lying around, little bits of it here and there, some ammunition, a cooler there with some food, more junk lying around, a shotgun, floor safe down there, and some more junk and some drugs there. Alright, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the records terminal. Okay. Dome 1, data read error. Dome 2. Current owner, Green Custom Defense Systems, lease term 2 years, payment status paid in full. Sorry, full term paid. Dome 3. Current owner, Nuka-Cola Corporation, lease term 12 years, holding option to renew for an additional 25 years. Payment status, full term paid. Dome 4, data read error. Dome 5, data read error. Dome 6, data read error. Dome 7, current owner undisclosed, lease term awaiting final term contract. Payment status, pending initial payment. Note, granted early access and anonymity due to large cash down payment. And Dome 8. Current owner, redacted. Lease term, redacted. Payment status, redacted. So these things have been updating over time as they've opened up more domes, so expect to see some of those that say data read error open up at some point. This is the safe control, of course. We can just disengage the safe lock there. And take a look in there. We got a forest treasure map, some armor, and some junk. Let's go ahead and head out here. Alright, I think we just heard the Eyebot flying around right there. There we go. There's some glowing fungus, like I said. We got a log there. Gather wood from that. There's one of the Protectrons out there, but you can also find some of them in here. Now, these were buildings that were used to manufacture ammunition. You can see South Acid Vat building right there, and then there's another one right there. There's this truck here with some clutter around it. If we keep on heading up this way, we got some brain fungus, glowing fungus, and one of several hard hats that can be found at this location. Now, along with that, we got a Starlight creeper there. And if we come up here, you can see the remains of one of these vats. Now, this does have some fairly radioactive areas to it. More glowing fungus, more Starlight creepers. This area right up here, and I'm not currently wearing any radiation protection, but I'm not sure if this character, I'm not sure if this world that I'm playing on has an issue with it or not, so let's see. Yeah, 29 rads, so it's a pretty hot little zone right there. Okay, so it looks like none of the Protectrons are in here right now, which is a little strange because there typically are some. But why don't we go ahead and we're going to hit these domes one by one, by their number. And I'm gonna just go right back through the hot zone again, basically to give us a starting point so it's easy for you all to find them. So again, we're starting here, just by the North Acid Vat building, the remains of it, I mean. And we're gonna go ahead and head straight back up this way. Now, we're not going to that dome. Instead, we're going to walk around. And basically heading straight back from that first dome, we find Dome 1. Now this is one that it cannot be opened, as you can see, inaccessible, but it does seem to have some source of radiation within it. Now why don't we go ahead and go to Dome 2. Again, I'm going to head back to the start, and then we'll start from there, and we'll go to Dome 2. Alright, again, starting from the North Acid Vat building, we're going to head up this path. And once we get to this first dome, we're going to go ahead and head off down towards the south, slightly off to the east. And here we are. Dome 2. Now, this is a dome you can find the key to. In fact, this character has the key to it. So why don't I go ahead and intersplice that little chunk of guide that I produced for this right here. We'll start by fast traveling up to Graniger Farm. Okay, we're going to ignore the firefight that's currently taking place over there, and instead we're going to head off to the southeast. What we're looking for is a home that has basically been ruined. It's sitting in the middle of a pond and is in... it's really just in shambles. Here we are. Alright, I will walk over on top of the house, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you where I am on the map. So long as these guys... yeah, they're going to try to kill me. Okay, now I'll show you. Okay, you can see where I am right here. Again, south and east of Graniger Farm, north and west of Carlton Mine, west and south slightly of Philippi Battlefield Cemetery. Okay, so what we're looking for here is actually that safe right there. Now, the safe door can be found right here. There's also a damaged hazmat suit. Well, let's get right over to this. And we have an alien blaster, and a burnt book, and we have a rusted key. And another burnt book, and another burnt textbook. But what we're looking here for here is really the alien blaster and the rusted key. Now, the rusted key is actually the main thing we were here for. Of course, the alien blaster is good, but what that key gets us is the access to our next point. I'm saying I need to drop something. Alright. What we need now is to go to the next location, which is Freddy Fear's House of Scares, here at the border between the Savage Divide and the Mire. Okay, with that taken care of, let's go ahead and get to the roof of Freddy Fear's House of Scares. Now, there's a lot of feral ghouls here, so I'm going to go ahead and sneak, but if you want to take them out, you obviously can. We're going to be heading to the back and be heading up these flights of stairs. Now that we're at the top, we're going to go ahead and head in this door using the rusted key. I'll close it behind me just to get a little privacy. And right over here, beneath the desk, is the stolen terminal passcode. Okay, with that, we can go ahead and head to our next stop, which is over in Morgantown. And you can head to whichever point you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and head to the main fast travel point here. And here we are. Okay, so we're going to be heading to the Shadow Breeze Apartments building, which is actually that building right there. And I'm going to avoid the feral ghouls that are pretending to be dead in the street there. In all likelihood, they're just sleeping, but... through the wall. Not sure you can get around this side. Yes, you can. And I pointed at the wrong building. If that one's actually next door. Nope. And here we are. And we're under attack. Alright, with that ghoul threat dealt with, we're going to go ahead and head upstairs to the top floor. Once you reach the top of the main staircase, you go ahead and head right through this door, up to the left, and in here. And here's the computer we're coming for. you use this option right here, write access code to holotape. Access code written to holotape successful. We now have the M Green access code. With that, we're going to go ahead and head to the Pleasant Valley Cabins. Okay, now that we're here, we're looking for the northernmost house, which I believe is this one right here. Alright, so gonna have to deal with some scorched here. And there are also security turrets. With that, we go to this terminal right here. Welcome, Mr. Green. Generate one-time key. There we go. Now, this is completely different every single time you play. If you do this, you will not get the same code. But right now, I've got 411-232. Okay. Now we head outside. And we go off the edge of the deck. Beneath. And come back here to where there's a wall safe with a keypad. 411-232. And that gives us access to this wall safe with TNT Dome Key 2. And there you have it. Alright, here we are back at TNT Dome 2. Now again, I already had the key, but if you didn't, you now have it. And within you find this little laboratory, including that cryogenics chamber right there, right out of Vault 111. Now, there's this corpse right here, which is in the states of decomposition. But along with that, there's this thing, like I said, this cryogenics chamber, which looks like it very well could be on, and it's impossible to tell what's within it, but there could be someone within that comes out at some point. Now, what we have over here is what really drew us to this area, the Alien Blaster Fusion Mag, and then along with that, Alien Blaster rounds, and the Alien Blaster rounds in there. Initial analysis right here, let's read this. Initial tests indicate these could very well be of alien origin, potentially our most significant find in a long time. The material inside is so complex and highly destructive, so take extra care when handling the samples. Alright. Now, I did not include any of this loot within here, within the main loot tally, so keep that in mind. There is actually some very good stuff in here. Things with screws, aluminum, stuff like that, gears, so again, more aluminum, oil, all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. Alright, let's get back to the rest of the video and we'll head back to our starting point. Alright, once again, we're by North Acid Vat Building. Let's go ahead and head this way. And we're going to cut over towards the road. Now we're going to encounter some Blood Eagles out here because they're hanging around Dome 4, which is that one right there. We'll come back to this in a minute. For now, we'll see whether or not if they engage us. It looks like they might. Nope, looks like they're leaving us alone. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and head up here. Now, you can actually cut off the path and follow this little dirt path. Right here. And that brings you right up to TNT Dome 3. Again, this is another one we can get a key for. And so I will put in the little guide for how to find that right here. Okay, so the path to get us the key into TNT Dome 3 starts at Pylon V13. Take a look at the map, go all the way down to the southeast into the mire, right there. This is an interesting little site that has some time travel attempts taking place up there. But anyway, what we're looking for is the key that can be found to the northwest of the site. Just going to go sneaking past the Snallygasters and the local super mutants and super mutant behemoth, because all we're looking for is that right there. That tree stump with a skeleton. Now next to the skeleton we have a note, Rich Taylor's Testament. Whoever finds this is as far as I could make it on foot. There aren't a lot of supplies in the area and I can't walk much further. Drank some water from a stream and I think it was bad. My family was attacked by one of the research assistants at work. I thought I knew my people, but I guess you never know. She got my son before I managed to put her down. I never wanted to kill anyone, and I never wanted to die like this. If you get this note, tell my wife that I loved her. Rich Taylor. Okay. Right here we got the toolbox key, along with some ammunition. Now, where we're headed with this is now Watoga. And specifically, we're going to be heading for northeast Watoga, and I'm going to go ahead and head straight to the shopping plaza. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to head... Oh, sorry, I thought it was... I'm actually closer to the site than I thought I'd be. We're going to head across the street from the Drumlin Diner to the north towards the river. Can I think I can... Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think this character is mayor of the city, so that's why I'm not being attacked. But if you're not mayor, then you may run into some trouble here. Now what we're looking for is this toolbox right here next to this skeleton. I think this is his wife. Okay, key to Clara's box. Now that takes us to Sutton. We go back up to the forest, right there, and we can actually go to the Overseer's home or to Sutton itself. I'm going to go to the Overseer's home because I think it's closer to the actual destination. Okay. Now we need to find Clara's box, which is within the doghouse. Let's head this way. Oh, we got a Scorched Wanderer there. Not sure where they're headed. Anyway, though, we're going to head into the backyard over here. And there's the doghouse. Okay. And right here we have another note. Clara's note to Mom. Mom, I'm so sorry that my research got you addicted to this swill. I'll get revenge on the bastards in marketing that did this, I swear to you. I love you and I miss you so much, Clara. And we have the wooden crate, which we can open with the key to Clara's box, and that gives us a Nuka-Cola locker key. And now we're off to the Kana Nuka-Cola plant. Okay. Now we're going to make our way to the front door. Okay, after dealing with some feral ghouls, let's head inside. Here we'll deal with some additional feral ghouls. And we're going to head up the stairs to the right into the snackability office. Going to head to the back room here. Deal with the feral ghouls within. Alright. And then we're going to head back over here. Back through the questioning area where they were filling out surveys. The testing area, I should say. And here we go, a locker with the key to TNT Dome 3 and apparently a skull for some reason. Anyway, though, let's head back out there. Alright, here we are. Let's take a look inside. Now, not everything is here because this character has been inside this dome before, but we got some junk. We got plans for the T51 Power Armor Nuka-Cola paint. And bottle cappy and orange jeans and jacket. And then, let's see. I've found some Nuka-Cola in here before, Nuka-Cola Cherry at times. I've also found a Nuka-Cola Quantum lying around. But then over here we also have the bottle and cappy red jacket and jeans. So yeah, that's what you can find here in TNT Dome 3. Alright, let's get back to our starting point. Now, we probably could have just cut this off the last one, but again, North Acid Vat Building. Go ahead and head this way again. And then cross the road. And this time we will have to deal with the Blood Eagles. Okay. Now, TNT Dome 4, we do not have a key for that one. No radiation source either. But we do see they were trying to break into it here with the sledgehammer and the pipe wrench and stuff like that. Alright, let's go ahead and head back to our starting point. Okay, once again by the North Acid Vat Building. Let's go ahead and head down this path a little bit and then follow this cutoff right here. Past this fallen tree. And we're going to go around this bunker because this is not the one we're heading for. We're going to follow this little path around here for a second. And here it is. This is once again TNT Dome 5. You can see this. There were some Scorched trying to break into that. They have been turned into petrified corpses. And this area, if you break those things, becomes radioactive. But it is an inaccessible bunker. So let's go ahead and back out of here. And we're going to head back to our starting point. Okay, once again, North Acid Vat Building. Heading up this path. Taking that right again. Jumping over the log. And here we are at TNT Dome 6. Now again, this is another one that is not yet open and accessible, and we're going to go ahead and head right back over to the starting point right over there. Alright, so here we are once again at the North Acid Vat Building, and we're going to just basically head straight north here. Just right out across the road, over these boulders, past these trees, And here we are, TNT Dome 7. This one is again one you can open. This character does not have the key, but I have it on another character and I will show you that now. Here we are at TNT Dome 7. Let's go ahead and get the key. Taking a look at the map, we first head down to the Kana Nuka-Cola plant. And we head inside. We deal with the feral ghoul problem here. And once that's been dealt with, we go ahead to the bathroom. Go into the out of order stall. And take a look down here behind the door. Paired keycard 1. With that, we've got half of the paired keycards. Let's go ahead and now head to Tanagra Town. And we go ahead and climb this tower. This is actually a fairly lengthy and dangerous hike up the side of this thing. Once we get to this point, beyond the bus and on top of the car, we turn back, head up these stairs. Once you get up here, you gotta head in through the cave. Now, there are unfortunately some cave crickets in here, which are fairly dangerous. But along with that, we get a nice view of a strange cyclopean head. Anyway, though, keep on going. And once we come back out the other side, it's going to be a little bit more climbing. Exit the ruined house. And keep on going. Okay, now that we're actually up here on top of the building, we're going to go back into this ruined house, and the key card is over on this ledge. Let's jump over. Now this character can jump fairly high because he's got the marsupial mutation, but you should still be able to do that regardless. Over here, pick up the trifold American flag, and there's your paired key card. Okay, we now have both of the key cards we need, but we also need a code. For that code, we're going to go ahead and head to the crashed plane here in the mire. Alright, now the code we're looking for is an access code that can be found in luggage. We head straight under the plane. You see this stash box here? It's on the other side of this tree. Right there. Nuka-Cola marketing access code. Okay. Let's go ahead and head to Ingram Mansion, now called the Rose Room. While this area used to be infested with enemies, it's now infested with people from New Jersey. Sorry, slight joke from South Park there, but yeah, these are people from Atlantic City. Anyway, though, we're going to go ahead and head around the back, and there's a computer right here. This used to be inside the house before it got rebuilt. Let's use this and generate a one-time key. 733290. Now, this is not going to be your code. This is going to be my code, and it's unique, so you can't just skip that step of getting the access code from the plane. So, with that, we have everything we need. We now head to the Overlook Cabin down here. Here we are at the Overlook Cabin, overlooking the former Summersville Lake. Of course, there's now a former lake thanks to David Thorpe having blown up Summersville Lake Dam. Now, both this location and the previous location were at, just before filming, filled up with scorched. I was going to say at some point in the past, but that would seem to indicate that they're no longer here for you. They will be here for you. I simply killed them to make filming a little easier. Now we head down to the basement, and we head into this little room back here that appears to be a dead end, right? Wrong. We go over here. We got a couple of key cards. Well, they're key card readers, sorry. Do ID card reader 1, ID card reader 2. I think within 3 seconds is what that's saying. And we can now head back into here. Alright, is that going to close behind us? Anyway, okay. And here we enter the key that we got from Ingram Mansion. 733290. To be honest, I don't remember what that opens exactly. Ah, there it is. Sorry about that. TNT Dome key 7. And we have a secret door sale. Blowout sale, secret crypt doors. Right now, and for a limited time only, buy 2 secret doors, get a 3rd door free. You can't afford to miss out on this amazing offer. Offer does not include installation or delivery. Buyer must pay 35% convenience fee. Taxes and hidden fees apply. All 3 doors must be identical. See store for details. Not valid across state lines. Purchase of a door indicates an agreement to subscribe to 1 additional product per month. Reading this text authorizes us to sell your personal information. If you do not agree to these terms, you must unread this agreement. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and head back to the Black Mountain Ordnance Works. Here we go. And inside we find all of this. Mostly just junk. There's this bed. It does appear that someone was attempting to live in here. Nice little place. Place to work on some power armor if you need to. But again, mostly just junk. I was editing the video and I realized that I'd forgotten something in here, and it's because it didn't show up that one time, and it's right over here. This is the XO1 Power Armor Nuka-Cola Quantum Paint. So yeah, this is the real draw of this bunker. Not just all the excellent junk that's in here, but this right here. Okay, we're back to it. Let's go ahead and head back to our starting point. Alright, once again, North Acid Vet Building. And the last, but definitely the first one we came across, TNT Dome 8. So this is one that is only accessible during the, what's it called, Invaders from Beyond event. And it's one that you get to with the help of Homer Saperstein. So I do have some footage from the interior of that, and I'll show that here. Okay, so we walk up and we use the mysterious key in the keycard scanner. And we head on inside through the decontamination arch. And we got some containment cells, a whole bunch of equipment on the walls, some specimens, dead alien, and there's Homer Saperstein. On the table in front of him, he's got a holotape, The Truth, which remains out there. And then, turning around, we, yep, again, Homer Saperstein there. Sorry, this is me voicing over an old video here. Some sort of sample there in that containment device. You got some more equipment around the walls, hazmat suit. And a terminal called Top Secret Terminal, and guess what happens? Yeah, it explodes. Now, we can take that case file, no real use in that. But we can examine a little bit more of the rest of the room. Again, more specimens, a little bit of junk, the alien blaster in there, and we can now go ahead and talk to Homer Saperstein.
So, you have discovered my base of operations. It is logical to conclude that you have participated in the recent invasions and helped defend Earth from the extraterrestrials. Thank you for your hard work.
They were hostile first. We had no choice.
A reasonable assessment. Given a language barrier, attempts at reconciliation may appear at best fruitless, at worst suicidal. Humanity values the safety of its own kind above all else. I do not believe it is possible to determine the moral correctness of this approach. It is only data.
So who are you exactly?
My designation is Homer Saperstein. I am human, just like you, though I have spent most of my years alive avoiding interaction with other humans. You will have to forgive me for any breaches in social etiquette.
How come you're not here in person?
I am not ready to interact with other humans personally. For now, this designed likeness and modulated voice will have to do.
So what's your goal exactly?
My assistant and I are aiding defense efforts by monitoring the extraterrestrials' movements. I have always been fascinated with the galaxies beyond our own. It is my life's purpose to study them, and to defend against them come the inevitable struggle for power and posterity.
Weirdo. Are you sure you're even human?
Interesting. I will have to determine what gives you the impression I am not.
Let's talk about something else.
Affirmative.
What is this place?
This is my personal base of operations. where I conduct extraterrestrial research. Normally I would be here in person, but I have a private shelter I retreat to when someone breaches the proximity. Please be assured, it is nothing personal.
Do you have anything to help me with the cause?
Yes, I have recently developed an aerosol formula that boosts the performance of brain activity for a limited time. I will release it into the bunker now. Please, make good use of it.
Let's talk about the alien invasions.
I would like to hear your thoughts on these aliens.
Why are we being invaded?
I cannot speak to the extraterrestrials' ultimate goal. However, they are conducting research on humanity. Perhaps they are determining what to do with us, with our planet.
What do you know about the aliens?
Very little. In fact, I am more interested in what you know or think about these extraterrestrials.
They must have a good reason for what they're doing.
So, human empathy extends beyond humankind. This is different from what I expected. I still have much to learn.
Do you speak their language?
Yes, it is true that I have acquired a rudimentary understanding of their speech. You see, they have been close enough to Earth for me to access their communications channels for some time now. So, I have been listening, detecting patterns, translating. I hope that is helpful. That is what matters, right?
Let's talk about something else.
My primary goal is to focus on the invasion, but I will accommodate your request.
That's all for now.
Goodbye.
And that just about does it for this bunker. Alright, well that should do it. There's not really too much in the way of loot here, basically because I decided not to include the loot that was in the TNT domes within the overall loot tally. I had the loot tally as, if you were to walk up to this site without any keys, what would you be able to find here? And that's what I included there. So it's not really all that much that you can find there. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at it now. Like I said, there's not too much. I think that'll do it for the Black Mountain Ordnance Works. I hope that the guides were helpful if you hadn't seen those before. These are newly produced versions of ones that I produced years ago now. And so again, if you hadn't been inside those TNT domes, hopefully these help you out. This has been the Resolute Cartographer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.